Hello and welcome to another episode of the Citizens of Lorcana podcast, a podcast where we invite you to be a part of their world. Today we are talking about Disney Lorcana Set 5 Shimmering Skies, and we have lots of news to talk about. We are joined by Jason, aka Lorcana Thanos. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to another week. Last week we had a chance to visit with RMB, where we talked about competitive mindset for playing the game, what he does to prepare for tournaments, kind of what his thoughts were for Set 5 meta, kind of taking a look back at Set 4. So lots of good stuff in there. If you haven't had a chance to go listen to it, go back and check it out. And this week we are talking about all of the D23 news. Set 5 has officially dropped, and much more with friend of the channel, Jason. Jason, welcome to the show. Welcome. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you're about?
Yeah, hey everybody. So this has been a long time coming, so I'm very happy that you guys have me on. So as Jared said, my name is Jason, aka Lorcana Thanos. Just a quick little bit about me. You guys might recognize me from a show way back in the day called Lorcana Cast, and then I went and did my own thing for a little bit under Quantum Gaming and Collectibles, hit burnout, and then I came back recently under Lorcana Thanos. I have over 25 years of competitive TCG experience, and I'm a former Disney cast member for about eight and a half years.
No, I had a chance to watch your, well, not the latest one because you released a new one, but the one where you were celebrating the 1 year anniversary.
Okay, yeah.
And one of the things that you shared on there was kind of your story. Mm-hmm. So if people want to dive more into that, I'd recommend they go check it out. But one of the things I appreciated about that video is just how open and honest you were about this journey. And one of the things that I really admired was you were like, in the beginning, I may have came off as a little arrogant with some of the things that I said.
For sure.
But you mentioned in your intro about how you had burnout. And the thing that impressed me about that video is it just seems like you came back, like a better version of yourself. So I'm super excited to have you on and to talk about everything we're going to talk about today. So with that being said, let's jump straight into the news. Let's talk about some D23 news. So what I'm going to do at the beginning is I'm just going to bullet point each piece of news and we can talk about each of them after. So at D23, we learned a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go in order here. Well, maybe not in order, but here we go. There have been over 1 billion cards sold since Lorcana has released, which is incredible. I think they said if you stacked them end to end, it would go around the globe like 1.5 times, something like that. We also learned the location of continentals and worlds. So next we learned that there's going to be a whole new world promo given to those who qualify for worlds, along with a gold 1-for-1 Mickey promo. We learned about Disney Lorcana Quest, which is the social organized play program, along with signable cards. We got 5 set 6 cards. We learned about Rescue Rangers. We learned about the Black Cauldron in 2025, Pocahontas in 2026, and the big one, Pixar, also coming in 2026. That is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. So much. I mean, we were sitting there in the panel, and it was like the first 40 minutes of the panel were just like a history of Lorcana and a Q&A about things about Lorcana, and it's all kind of like some of the things we kind of knew, and some of the things were like, special new stuff with like behind the scenes, but nothing was really groundbreaking. And then all of a sudden, like the last 15 minutes of the panel was like this onslaught of news, of new stuff. It was incredible.
It was like a fire hose. Yep, it just came right at you. I was live tweeting it, and it just was coming fast and furious.
Yeah, just like type as fast.
Having a hard time keeping up.
So, do we want to talk about these as I present a slide, and we kind of just talk about it real quick, what we think about the news? All right, so we're going to talk about this first.
Yes.
1 billion cards, over 1 billion cards sold. I'd have to say that in 1 year, that makes a successful game, right?
Yeah, game's not dead, so.
I think that's a pretty staggering number. 1 billion cards.
Now, granted, Pokemon prints something like 9 billion cards a year.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they were able to reach anywhere close to that in the first year of being a game is pretty incredible. All right, so what do we want to talk about next? We want to talk about the location of Continentals and Worlds. How about that? We've got the North American Championship is going to happen at Disneyland, and the European Championship is going to happen at Disneyland Paris. That's pretty awesome, right? I mean, who doesn't want to go to a park, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Pretty incredible. And then Worlds, we know, is happening thematically at Disney World.
Yes.
I mean, you would think that that's something like that is where it would happen, right? Is Disney World has to happen at Worlds. And let's just real quick show the promo. I have it in here somewhere. Here we go. So they're going to be doing, just like the Dragonfire was the challenge promo, we're going to have a whole new world, the Everyone Gets It promo at Disney World for the World Championship. And as Rochelle said, that is the trifecta of puns for the Worlds, and everyone should appreciate it.
That's right.
Of course, yeah. I absolutely love this card. When I saw this, I was just have obviously I definitely want to try to go. I need that card, so
that'd be very cool.
I think the only thing we want to show is the 6 cards that were teased from set 6. Sorry, 5 cards that were teased from set 6. And they're all, it's Donald and Goofy and Minnie and Daisy and all that. And they all have a seafaring theme because that is going to be the theme of set 6. Some kind of swashbuckling pirate buccaneer set of some kind.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting when I saw that. So, of course, my mind immediately went to, if we're doing pirates and stuff, are we going to get more Treasure Planet, maybe more Captain Hook, Neverland type stuff? But since we've tipped our toe in Treasure Planet, I'm hoping maybe we'll get more.
Yes, that would be cool. Is there anything else we can think of in the Disney canon that maybe would fit this theme, like directly? I mean, obviously, these are all characters. The main Disney characters all have had, aquatic adventures in the past, but there's got to be some other ones that are like directly related, like you said, like Peter Pan and Treasure Planet. But
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I wish, yeah.
Even more Little Mermaid. We've already had
Little
Mermaid, but even more Little Mermaid.
That's true. Yeah. Eric could be on his boat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For the
we need flounders. Yeah.
For the 5 seconds we saw him on a boat.
Floodborne flounder.
Okay, but first, Jason, you're a competitive player.
Yep.
What do you make of Continentals and the prizing for them? So what do you think about all of that?
So first off, super excited. This, and Jared mentioned the video that I recently just did, kind of touching on this a little bit, but I'm super excited. This seems like just perfect synergy to why not have your Disney card game at your 2, prominent parks here for us in the States, North American Championship, at the very first park, and Worlds at Worlds to get a world, pun on pun, right? But it's I love the synergy aspect of it. A Whole New World was one of my favorite cards, and it's my favorite Disney song. I really want that art, and that Mickey, I know we'll probably talk about it, but you guys talked about the panel. I know Eric from the Gamer, I think, actually put it up on his Twitter, and I got to watch his recording of the panel, so it was cool to like kind of see that. But in terms of this, I'm super excited.
So the other thing, go ahead.
My one, if I'm going to nitpick, I just wish the 1 of 1 gold Mickey was different. That's my one complaint.
Okay. Right.
I mean, it's okay. I understand that. Let me find it here in our share. So here is the 1 of 1 golden Mickey. It's going to say World Champion 2025 on it. It's going to say 1/1 because it's the only one that there ever will be. And I understand the need to, or the feeling that it should be special. I don't know. It just kind of feels like being similar, the same card as what is being handed out the championships, but having that stamp. It keeps it flowing through. I mean, I think I probably would have wanted it to be different too, but I understand that this keeps it thematically with what you earned as you go through. You earn a 1 of 500, and then you earn a 1 of 1. So, and to be clear, this is not like the only prize. The whole New World promo is going to everybody who is at the event, and then the 1 of 1 is for the winner. There's going to be other prizing. They said that there's going to be more stuff, that they're going to be giving out. So there will be things, not just the Cinderellas and the Rapunzels and all that given out. There will be something else for Worlds and Continentals, I think. Definitely for Worlds. But that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when you guys say you want it to be different, do you still want it to be Brave Little Taylor, but a different art, or are you wanting a different Mickey?
Oh, geez.
That's a good question.
It's hard to top a gold card, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I imagine it'd still be Brave Little Taylor, maybe just a different pose.
Sure, yeah.
Because, I mean, Brave Little Taylor's kind of been the mascot of Disney Lorcana from day one. And I know, like, by the time this rolls out, we'll probably be in 6, or 7. But as far as the first year of Lorcana, this Brave Little Taylor's kind of been, the mascot.
Yeah. And I just don't know how a new art is about the only thing that I would see that you'd still do a gold card because I mean, unless you do a platinum card, there's not much else that's going to be, worth more, or feel like it's better,
However, it's still a gorgeous card, and if I could get my hands on it, I would.
Right.
Okay. What else? Any other thoughts on competitive, play at Continentals and Worlds, Jason?
I mean, outside of probably from the obvious, in order to win, definitely gonna have to bring your A game. I mean, I think just it's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, you guys were there obviously, so they may or may not have said. Did Rochelle say if there's going to be ways for us to get like attendee badges or like last chance qualifiers or anything like that, like as a way to still go or possibly get in at the last minute if we don't top a DLC?
Yes, there will be a day 0 at Continentals.
Okay, perfect.
Where you can compete to go into the Continental Challenge on the first day of competition. I'm assuming it's basically just going to be another challenge that's just attached to the Continental, and then so I mean, basically, if you make it into that, just imagine you have to play whatever 1,000 or 2,000 person event, and then it's like a 200 person event, depending on how many people they bring in, and then a top 64 if you make that. That's 3 days of hardcore card playing.
I heard the same thing, but I don't know if it's official yet. So take that.
The day 0 is, as far as Continentals, because they announced that way back at the beginning that there would be a day 0, like when they first announced challenges. But at Worlds, it's just whoever wins the Continentals, however many they bring in, whether top 8 from each or top 16 from each. I don't know, but there will be a whole event surrounding it for a ton of people to come and do side events and other like smaller competitive events and all kinds of stuff. They're going to make a big deal about it.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
There has to be, in order to justify the cost. Like, you don't hold an event at Disney World for 64 people to come to. So
for sure.
Anyway, so speaking of, one of the other things that they announced was these Disney Lorcana Quest. This is more for the social side of gaming. And one of the things that Rochelle talked about were these autographable signable cards. She showed the one with Mickey from set 1. They could go to the park and have a character sign it. What do you guys think this event will be like, and what do you hope it'll be like, I guess?
Well, let me take this first. Lorcana Quest is supposed to be the social side of organized play. So it is comparable to what League is now, or what they kind of envisioned League to be, but much more fully social, to where like this is actually the program where it's all social. So getting these cards signed is just like one, I guess, quest of the Lorcana Quest of being able to get things. There's going to be other social things, like it's going to be much more leaning into the multiplayer games and all of the things that you would envision for a social aspect of gaming, much more than just 1v1 competitive events.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you actually took that first, since you were there. That's good to hear. I didn't know about the multiplayer aspect and all that, but I definitely think it is good for the social element to, and especially multiplayer, to get more love in the community for sure. And then I actually really like the concept of autograph cards, because that's it could be like a unique souvenir basically. So
right, and you can use this for both the character or the artist if you happen to be able to go to an event where the artist is at. So this
or
makes
your
it
favorite
a
content creator.
Right, yeah. Flounders, yeah.
Flounders, make a flounder, right?
Okay, so I'm just a little confused about these autograph cards, because one of the things that you said, James, was, to me, like, this kind of represents a quest. Like, you're on a quest to go get this card signed. So is that quest like earning you points, or is it just for funsies? Is it at this event? Like, are they going to have a Mickey Mouse at this event that can go get signed? And I mean, are there going to be different types of quests that you can do?
Well,
like wearing a Disney garb to
right.
The quest. Like, I don't know. I'm so curious to know about this, and these autographable cards have me scratching my head, trying to figure out how they fit into the Disney Lorcana Quest fan events.
I think it's just one piece, like one like little piece of the quest. And I think that it has to be one small piece, because obviously not everyone lives anywhere near a park or can get there.
Exactly.
So it can't be like all of what the quest is, or even a major part of it. It's just one piece of it for fun, for people who can get to a park and get an autograph. I don't know how they're going to go about like making sure it's not an overwhelming part of it, or where anyone who can get there regularly is going to like dominate at the social, the Lorcana Quest point system, whatever it may be. But I'm pretty sure they've made sure that it's going to be fair, where people coming every week who play multiplayer games have just as much a chance as the people who can go to the park every week and get signatures on cards.
Yeah, I guess that's my question. My question, because this feels like a quest. Is there a reward for doing this?
I think so.
Quest? Or is the card the reward in and of itself?
Right, being able to get a promo card that you can then get signed, where it's not the normal card. I mean, just being able to have that is really cool. Maybe these are only available in the parks to get signed, and characters will have them at special Lorcana themed events. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, that'd be a neat idea. I do like that.
We shall have to wait and see.
I want to know now.
So we only mentioned it in passing when Jared went through the list really quickly, but we also got in set 6 the announcement of coming up here. I got to find it. It's in here somewhere. I have all these files I got to go through and find it. So every time I do this, it's like, wait, what is this? We have Rescue Rangers coming to Lorcana in set 6. So more Disney Afternoon is here. What do you think of that, Jason?
So excited. I also talked about this before in a recent video, but I talked about how about a year ago during my quantum gaming days, I did a video on franchises I wanted to see in Lorcana, and I touched on exploring more Disney Afternoon. Rescue Rangers was right up front there, and I recently did a video before Set 5 came out about characters I wanted to see. I predicted Chip and Dale. I was off by one set, but I'm super excited. I'm the 80s 90s kid, so I love Disney Afternoon. And I'm super excited, and I hope they make this image as a playmat because I will definitely pre-order that.
Okay, so there were so many people that were super hyped about DuckTales, which I like DuckTales. Don't get me wrong, but my show as a kid was Rescue Rangers. Yes. So I am like beyond hyped to finally have Chip and Dell and Gadget and Monterey Jack, and I forget the fly guy's name.
So
and
Zipper.
Fat Cat. Yeah, Zipper. You're right. Okay. And all the characters that inhabit this world. I mean, who knows?
Yes.
Who knows how many characters we'll actually get? Because Tailspin, you have you have a handful. Hopefully, we get a lot of characters from Rescue Rangers, and Set 6. And I'm super excited for this. Bring it on, Set 6, and it has Oswald. Like
it does. Yeah,
it's going to be peak Lorcana for me right here.
How could it get any better?
Personally, for me, I need Mr. Toad. I asked Ryan in Atlanta directly for it, but I still need Mr. Toad.
And was it the answer of that's like Bruno? We can't talk about it. Was that his reply?
He said, he said basically, I know a guy, so
you can't talk about the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's got like 2 or 3 pat answers for everything that he can't answer.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, super excited for Rescue Rangers. Okay, so another one. Another one that they kind of teased. They put up the cauldron, and the crowd went wild because it was a room full of Disney nerds. But I guarantee you, once these images start coming out and we start seeing cards, there's going to be a lot of people watching this movie because they're going to be like, oh, I've never heard of this. Black Cauldron. It's a cult classic that people have been asking for since D23 in 2022. Like, I remember what it was like in Discord. There were lots of people asking for Black Cauldron. So how excited are we to see Black Cauldron in 2025, right? 2025?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when I saw you tweet this, because I was actively following your Twitter from the panel, when I saw this, I was like, no way. And it's like, I'm not even like as big of a fan of this movie, but I thought about it and like it made sense because the Horn King is a playable villain in Villainous in one of the expansions. So there's a little bit of company synergy there already. But it's just like, if you know like the history of this movie, it's like that is such like a deep pull for like kind of like what this movie is. And I'm very curious to see, especially like the Horn King, especially like how he's going to play, like what ink he's going to be in, all that fun stuff. But I'm glad they're diving into these more obscure properties outside of the big ones that we all know and love.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch this movie until I think it was either earlier this year or late last year. It's the first time I ever actually saw it, and I understand why and how it's a cult classic, but it is not at the top of Disney's films in overall quality. It's got some funky stuff, and I saw Liam from the Illumineers like kind of talking about it the other day about how it's like about why it's the way it is, why it's so dark, and what the time frame it came out was the time frame of a bunch of dark animated movies from other companies, and Disney was just trying to like see if they could do something too. But if you take the Disney name off, it's actually fits in with the times. But when people see Disney, they expect something, and this was not it. But it's got some cool characters, it's got some cool visuals, it's got one of the coolest villains. So of course, it's going to be awesome in the game because, I mean, imagine all the recursion kind of things we're going to get with this set. So that's going to be fun.
That's why, Jason, you were saying, I wonder what color the Horn King will be in. I feel like it has to be amber because they like to bring other characters back from the banished pile.
Yeah, that's true. Pile. Yeah, that's true.
but also maybe an emerald, because they like to do wacky things in weird ways. And I mean, that's going to be maybe some weird kind of recursion. Like, I don't know. It can show up in a few different places.
For sure. Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Let's be honest. Besides the Horned King, can we name any of the characters from that movie?
The little guy.
The princess was like It was kind of like Eowyn from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And there's what Suzanne's what, like Gurgi or something
Gurgi's
like that.
the
Yeah,
only one I
Gurgi.
remember.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah. I can't remember the main character's name, but
Yeah.
you know,
It's the kid.
yeah.
Oh, and the pig, Henwen.
Henwen
the pig.
And the pig, yes.
See, it's it's always the animals and stuff that people remember, right?
Right, yeah.
It's the human characters, whatever.
Yeah, it's like kid with stick, right? Or kid with sword. Yeah.
Kudos to you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on from what we expect next year, let's talk about 2026, and we got the big announcement for the second to last ish princess that is going to be added to Lorcana with Pocahontas. And again, it's the evil-eyed Pocahontas because of the way the lights were. That's not actually how the art looked. Don't worry. That was just because it was on a projector, and it somehow, like, everyone's photo makes it look like she has evil eyes. It's hilarious. But anyway, what do you think of Pocahontas coming?
All right, so this one got me very excited. Of course, again, because of time difference. When I saw this photo on Jared on your Twitter, I had to run into the other room and tell my wife about it, because she's a massive fan of Miko. She loves Pocahontas, so she's been asking for this movie property to come in since before set one. So she's been Miko. So this for and our household, this is thumbs up. So
we were sitting around on either Saturday or Sunday talking about stuff when we were waiting in yet another line somewhere, I think. And it came up with talking about this and the Colors of the Wind, and how the possibility of that maybe being the first ever multicolor card, because Colors of the Wind would be very appropriate to have more than one color on it.
Sure, for sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just a thought to place in there and see if something happens. And then, like, in 2 years, if it happens, I could be like, look at that. I said it 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Let me go dig up this old video.
It could work if they keep the Enchanted art design for Shimmering Skies for next set. Then you could get multicolor that way.
Hey,
potentially. I don't know how that's going to work, but just a thought.
So when they said that you can finally complete your princess deck, and they showed Pocahontas, everyone was like, hold on a second, that is not the last princess. And then that's when they showed us Pixar was coming in 2026 as well. So now you can finally complete your princess deck because we have Merida in there. So finally, this is the big one, guys, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Pixar is added to Lorcana in 2026. What do we think?
Absolutely huge. Obviously, outside of expanding, Disney Afternoon, all that kind of stuff, this makes the most sense. And of course, I guess we get to now speculate who's showing up first. So obviously, I think you have to start with the film that started it all with Toy Story. I think that makes the most sense. You talked about, of course, that missing princess. I think Merida has to show up, of course, too. About time she gets some love. Quite honestly, she doesn't get as much love as she should. But what do you guys think that we're going to see?
Similar. I mean, okay, this is a bittersweet thing for me. I love that we're getting Pixar, but it almost feels too soon. Like, the Disney animated collection is so vast. It feels like there's still so much untapped potential. And I know they're not giving up on the Disney animated stuff as soon as they bring in Pixar, but I'm also very excited. I agree with you, Jason. I posted this on my Twitter, and I feel like it's got to be Woody. Like, I feel like the first card image that they're going to tease is going to be Woody. So But I mean, yeah, Toy Story, Brave, Cars. I mean, I was about to say Wreck-It Ralph, but that's Disney, and it's already in the game.
Yep.
So many cool things that I can't wait. And Cars, like so many cool possibilities that open up by bringing in this franchise. I cannot wait.
What about the other thing that Pixar is famous for? And that's two things. They're shorts. So we're going to get things like
That's true.
Lexo,
That's true. Yeah.
Lexo Jr., the little Tin Man toy.
Right.
We're gonna get the birds, those birds that were on the wire, and I mean, Paper Man, and just so many things are possible. And then the other thing they're famous for is the Easter eggs and how many things they put into their movies in the backgrounds and like that go between movies. So there may be, I think Lorcana will, the developers of Lorcana probably will lean into that kind of thematic thing that Pixar does, and they're going to start pulling some really esoteric things out of Pixar, just like they have the one we always lean into is the mouse armor from the Great Mouse Detective, where it was like that thing was in the background of every shot. It's like of the few shots that appeared, and it never was a thing that was used. It was just there. And I think they're going to pull that and probably do that similar thing from Pixar. At least I hope they will, because that feels right. I can't wait for it. I think it's just expanding it now. I know it feels a little too early, but it will be 3 years in, to Lorcana. We will have anywhere from, what is that? If they do it at the beginning of the year to the end of the year, that's anywhere from like 11 or 12 to 14 sets.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
And that's over 2,000 cards already in the game, and then they're going to add Pixar. I think it's okay. Maybe fourth year, fifth year might have been giving a little bit more breathing room, but I think this is good because I think it's going to be like just jumping in with brand new stuff, and that's life cycle of a game where you have to remember most TCGs, they don't last past 2 or 3 years. And so this may be that their way of making sure that they have another jump ready to go for when most TCGs might normally be taking that downward spiral. And it'll hopefully reinvigorate the game if it's even leaning that way, which honestly right now doesn't look like it's leaning that way at all, or it won't anytime soon. But if it does start to happen, here's your kick.
For sure. Now, my question is, so it just says 2026. So based off kind of how set cycles go, my initial thought was this is going to be the set release for Gen Con of 2026. Like when do you guys think in 2026 like Pixar is coming? If you had to guess.
Depending on timing of the events, it's either Gen Con or D23. Because D23s were going to be right around the same time as well in 2026.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because it would be 2 years. Okay.
Because I mean, this year they were 1 week apart.
Okay, right. Okay.
So it just and D23 has moved to early July to late August, and it just depends on when they schedule it. So I think it's definitely a Gen Con / D23 thing that they can celebrate as the third anniversary of the game. I think is probably going to be the key thing. So I think I would expect it around then.
Yeah, I was leaning towards James. D23 seems to be pretty special to Lorcana. And I know they dropped it at Gen Con, last year, but there's also no D23 at that time. Plus, it was at a gaming convention. So they kind of wanted to kick it off with a bang there. So, I mean, if I had to place bets, because I live in Las Vegas, I'd probably go with D23. Unless, like James said, unless it's in July, and then it makes no sense. But we'll see. Okay, so that leads me to the next question. Why now, of all times? Like, I had a little bit of envy when Star Wars Unlimited had their roadmap where like, all right, guys, here's the first 4 sets, here's the names of them, here's what we're doing, here's what you can expect. So why tell us like kind of the 2-year roadmap at this point when in the past we've never known anything more than the upcoming set? Like, what is the strategy here, do you think?
So I think when I watched the video, and you guys can confirm, I think Rochelle said they were playing like I'm sure they do get asked about Pixar all the time, but I know she was playing like, well, we're just tired of answering the question, so here. But I do think they understand, like, obviously with 1 billion cars being sold, that the game has strong legs to stand on. I think they've seen results from DLC. They have seen the community grow, and I think they know finally, like, they understand what they have, and they know Pixar will just help grow that even further.
Yeah, and I think that it was a combination of that. They're ready for people to know kind of like the track instead of just what's coming up in 3 months. I think they're at the year point. That's a good point. And I think also it was just the D23 thing. They wanted something big and special to make a splash at D23, and this was definitely the way to go about it. I mean, it was definitely huge, and it was definitely a splash. So I think that was one of the other reasons to do that.
Well, I think one of the things Rochelle said on Twitter after, D23 was all over was, she's like, one of the things I was hoping for was that the panel would feel like an in real life lore cast, which it kind of did. I mean,
yeah.
But that's the thing about like the lore cast in the past is, they preview upcoming sets primarily. I think we got a little bit of information. But as to your point, James, I think it was the venue. Like, you're on a big stage and you want to make as big of an impact as you can. So I'm grateful that they're sharing the information with us, and I'm super excited. I can't wait for Rescue Rangers to come here. Like, I'm already wishing away the year. Wait, no. Rescue Rangers is next set.
Next set.
So I only have to wish away 3 months.
I was going to say, so tangential question to this: can you now, knowing this now, how much harder do you think it's going to be waiting for each set, knowing that we still have 6 or 5 or 4 sets until that other thing that we know about is coming? Like, does it increase your fun of each upcoming set, or decrease it, or just, or can you set it aside and just enjoy each set as they come out?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can set it aside and take each set in. Obviously I want, to play with Buzz Lightyear and, all that fun stuff, but I'm enjoying Shimmering Skies right now. So, and I'll look forward to set 6 when we get it, and so on and so forth. So I think I can set it aside now. If I got this thing, and I know we'll probably talk about it, I want it now. But
yeah, I'm the same way. Like, there, in the past, there have been Marvel movies or Star Wars movies or, shows that I've been excited to watch. But like, I don't spend my life just being like, oh, come right now. Like, it gets set to the side, and then as the time gets closer, that's when I start to get hyped up for it. So I think it'll be the same.
Okay. All right. So Jason,
what about you, James?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
I can set them. So I'll forget about it. They'll be like, oh, what's I'll have a Marvel movie come out, or a Star Wars thing, or the next Lorcana set, and I'll be like, oh, I know that's coming, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
I know it's there. Yeah. I'll just wait for it to show up, and sometimes forget about it for a little while, and then someone will remind me, like, oh yeah, that's coming, isn't it? It's like when the Snow White trailer came out, I'm like, oh yeah, Snow White's coming out live action. Oh yeah, Gal Gadot is going to be the queen. That's going to be awesome. Like, I completely forgot that Gal Gadot was going to be in the Snow White movie. So things like that. It's like, I'll just forget.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, Jason, you were not at D23, and Jared and I thankfully were. So what was it like watching from home, seeing all of that, everything that happened?
Yeah, I mean, I also can only speak for myself, but I felt like from just reading all the responses to everything that you guys were sharing, or what Eric was sharing, or whoever was in the room, like, I personally could feel the excitement all the way here where I am. And then it really helped, like, again, I keep mentioning it, but watching Eric's recording of it, you really then, especially at what we're talking about, got the sense of like how exciting like all that stuff was, like, as it just built from like Continentals to Worlds, Pixar. You could just definitely feel the energy for sure.
And Ryan is such a showman. He has a way of building that tension.
So I am so happy that Eric recorded it to capture the moment when he did his. So if you look under your chair, And
yes,
it was so amazing because so many people started to look under their chair, and he caught so many people. It was awesome.
Dude, it was like an instant reaction. My hand just shot straight down.
Right? Yeah, it was. And I looked around real quick and I see people doing, ducking down, and I'm like, oh, he got him. It's amazing. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I just enjoyed it. I'm so happy that we were able to record it. A lot of times D23 is really strict about things and what they can and can't record there. So I'm really happy we were able to take pictures, tweet things out, get the whole recording. Which the one you're mentioning, it's on the Gamer website. So if you want to make sure that the Gamer gets a lot of props for putting that out, go watch it there. But I think he's also uploaded it now to both Twitter and YouTube if you want to find it there.
I was honestly surprised when he had his camera set up on the tripod. I was fully expecting somebody to come by and be like, "Sir, you know that's not allowed here." But when the first employee walked by and they didn't say anything about it, I was like, "Okay, we're good. We're good."
Yeah, the only thing he got chastised for was having it way too high up, and then he had to lower it down. That was like the only problem was just make sure everyone else can see it and it's not in everyone's way. That was it. It was awesome.
Yeah, because I had thoughts. I was like, should I like live stream this to the Discord server? But I mean, Eric had that fancy camera. I just had my iPhone. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to live tweet this.
Live tweet. I think that made it almost so much better because then everyone is like the anticipation of what the next tweet is going to be and like what's coming out. I think may have really helped build and keep the excitement going, outside as well.
Yeah. Okay. So James and I think we're just going to take a minute to share some D23 highlights that maybe weren't recorded in this panel. And for me, I think you'd probably agree, James, is that meetup that we co-hosted with Rebecca from the Luminary Friday night after the panel was all over, after everybody got their hands on the D23 sets. There's a handful, probably like 20 of us that met in the food court of the Hilton. They're right next to the convention center. And
dragged a bunch of tables into one section and chairs and just hung out in one little section. And then Steve and Ryan came over and they had like 4 booster boxes with them. And they're like, okay, we're going to play some games. And they showed us how to play a new 2v2 version. And then after they tried that out for, I think it was like Steve played in one group of 4 and Ryan played in another group of 4.
Yeah,
we played that out, and then after that, they just did pack rushes with 2 packs each for the rest of the night until they were gone. Ryan was like so beat. He actually booked like soon after the 2v2, but Steve lasted for I don't know like 2 hours. It was crazy. He was there for a while, so it was awesome.
Shane Hartley was there, and Rochelle, and Stephen Gettle, and Lurkanistan, like so many people from the community. And I'm sorry if I didn't shout you out, but we're super grateful for everybody that came by. Rebecca's son Caleb challenged me to a game. He had a Emerald Steel discard deck with no Bucky, and I brought my thrown together Ruby Amethyst deck, and he beat me. He had 2 Prince Johns out, and he had he was just drawn like crazy. So the only way he could beat me, no, I can't remember. I was close to beating him. I was at 19, but he snuck it out of me. And so good job, Caleb.
Got beat. Too bad. And then so after at the end of the night when Steve was saying bye, he did a little bit of trivia and gave away, I think, the last few packs or the last few cards or something like that he had. And then he handed every single person in attendance a Mickey promo that they were giving out at the show.
Nice.
And that was awesome. And then we kind of just packed up. It was around 10 o'clock, and everyone's like, well, a lot of us have been up since 3, 4 in the morning. So I think it's time to go get some sleep and do it all again tomorrow.
And then the next day, I see that Shane Smith had texted me. He's like, hey, are you guys still here? We can't find you. And I go to the Lorcana booth, and Matt Ing was like, we went there at 10:30 and there was nobody there. I was like, sorry guys, we were beat.
Yeah, we were tired. Sorry. But no, it was awesome. I think, and just being able to go to the booth and seeing the booth and getting the D23 set, even though now that was an experience and not necessarily an awesome one. Jared had an adventure where he went to downtown Disney and actually managed to get 2 sets there. Came to the convention, got in line with us, got 2 more sets at the convention after that whole hoopla. But like for me, it was I got up at 3:30 in the morning to get ready to go get in line and do the whole virtual queue, which I have no idea why Disney wanted to do the virtual queue at 4 a.m. in the morning. It was craziness. But you know, I was in line at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm so from when I got in line at 4:30 until I had my sets and I walked out of the booth was a little after noon. So it was 7.5 hours of lines and waiting and lines to get 2 sets, and then the craziness is that later in the day, like at 6:30 that night, after all of this madness, I'm standing around the booth and Matthew Eng again, he's like, hey, by the way, they're kind of opening the booth every once in a while to let some people in. So if you see it open, just get in line. Because there was only like 15 people in line when I walked up. So I'm like, okay. So I went wandering around the booth. I saw Shane. I waved hi at him. He waved his deck at me. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come by and play a game with you. But then Matthew's like, they're opening it. So I ran around and I missed it. So I stood around at the front for another 10 minutes. They opened it up and I got in and I got more sets, just like it took me like 10 minutes. And I'm like, I spent 7.5 hours for 2 sets and then 10 minutes for the next 2 sets. It was craziness.
Yeah.
But lots of fun. Don't get me wrong. It had its moments, but overall, an amazing convention, an amazing experience. And mainly because of the people, and and that's not just all of you guys, the fans, and all of the people that were there and what we got to talk to, but the people who work on the game. All of the Ravensburg people were amazing. They were always so nice. They talked to us. If they recognize your name, like Matthew Eng, every time he saw me, he pointed at me and he's like, James, and I'm like, that's really cool that he remembered my name from like I don't even know if we've ever met. So I thought that was awesome. And just that's how nice they all were. And I just love that. What are we on now? Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. Enough about us. Right? We're going to enough talking about that. Jason's like, oh, okay, whatever. So back to you, Jason. You're going to Vegas, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cannot wait. I don't know how I got in, but I managed to get in.
Right? I remember the when those went on sale, and I remember we were messaging with Jared, and Jared's like, I don't think I got it. What? No, it's giving me an error. What's going on? And like, oh, I'm in. I'm like, what? Yeah. How did you go from I think I got this
refresh?
Yeah. Right. So I don't know.
For 20 minutes afterwards, somebody
apparently
didn't check out.
Someone's cart dropped, and then all of a sudden Jared was like the lucky one who got in when someone dropped their cart.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Your Jared, yours was crazy. Like I managed to like sneak in, but your thing was crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So I was happy you got in.
I had my phone open. I had my laptop open. Like I was doing everything everybody told me to do. Like James said, I was refreshing a few seconds ahead of time just in case. But yeah, I got in and it had the add to cart, button, and I had the +1. I'd hit add to cart, and then it'd be like not available, and then it'd go back and it'd do it again, and then after doing that like 10 times, it said error. Like do you want to be on the wait list? What a roller coaster.
Right.
So, what are you doing to prepare?
Not sleeping. Yeah, I pretty much work. So yeah, we've and Jared, I've talked about this, but yeah, it's work, content creation, prep for Vegas. That's all I do. It's pretty much Lorcana on the brain. I'm playing or adjusting the list in the morning. I work, come home, play or work on videos if I have to, but especially with the Shimmer Skies being out, obviously it's going to be illegal for the event. Dealing with Daisy is interesting. There are solutions to remove her, but yeah, I've definitely been playing as much as I possibly can. I play depending on what my schedule's like, I'm playing between 4 to 8 hours a day on top of working and doing content creation. So I am trying very, very hard to end up in Anaheim. And so as long as I get number 16, that's all I care about, right? Just get into the dance.
Now,
So,
do you have like a play group? Are you gold fishing? What are you doing?
So, I don't have a play group yet. I recently changed my work schedule, so that prohibited me from attending locals in my area on a consistent basis. I have a newer schedule now where I'm starting to be able to go to locals more. And so my wife plays some, so she and I will play. I'll goldfish some. I'll do some simulator types, like test hand type situations. I'll say I'll go to locals, so I'm trying to get in as many like different reps and theory craft as much as I possibly can without information overload. So.
And are you building like multiple decks and just testing a bunch of different decks out, or are you kind of just focusing in on like one or two that you like really want to make work?
Yeah, so right now I have pretty much what I think are like the main four kind of to look at. So the hyper aggro deck, obviously, you have to be aware of. I still think Ruby Sapphire has potential. Ruby Amethyst always has potential. And I am looking at Sapphire Steel. And my honorable mention is discard. I don't think the Bucky errata matters at all. I think discard is still a very viable strategy. Prince John's Mirror, that card is very, very good for discard. So I have one of those. I'm leaning into one of those more than the other, but I'm going against what I think I'm going to see more. And right now, obviously, as you guys know from Twitter, the discourse is all about the aggro deck. So I'm looking at how to deal with that consistently, but I definitely would not sleep on the decks that have been around since set one. So
Intriguing.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that you have a YouTube channel. So why don't you tell everyone what that is and what you talk about on it and what you kind of just generally cover on the channel?
Yeah, so the name of my channel is Lorcana Thanos, the Mad Titan of the Illuminary. You can't tell that I like Thanos at all. So basically, what I wanted to do with the channel is, as I said at the start of the episode, I'm a competitive player by heart. But what I wanted to do is, I feel like there's enough competitive channels out there. So what I wanted to do is just make the content that I wanted to see and focus on the more social aspect of the game. And so things that I do on the channel is I do top 10 lists. I have some discussion videos on there. The thing that I'm really proud of and that I have a lot of fun doing because it encourages me to look at the deeper aspect of the card pool is I make thematic social level deck profiles. So I have one for like Robin Hood and Brooms, like 101 Dalmatians. I have one based around Wreck-It Ralph for Sugar Rush with all the racers coming out. So I just like to just kind of have fun and make content that isn't necessarily 100% competitive minded. I want to branch into that and do interviews eventually. So I'd love to have you guys on when I do that. But I primarily try to focus on like discussion vids, top tens, and then just the thematic deck profiles.
Very nice. A little bit of everything.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And although that segues perfectly in the next question, but you pointed out your, Thanos gauntlet there. What did you want to say about that? I know you're going to Vegas with it, right?
I am. I will have it on in Vegas. So
doesn't that make it hard to shuffle?
That is the one trick I haven't practiced yet. But yeah. I may have to take it off while I'm playing. But if I manage to get on stream, I'll try and play with it as much as I possibly can. But
all right.
But yes, yeah, I will. This is what I'll have that on. But yeah, I'll have all this on, so I'll be pretty easy to spot in Vegas.
You're gonna stand out.
Yep.
Speaking of which, what advice would you have for fellow or aspiring content creators? You have some experience here.
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time thinking about this answer, and you guys typically get the response of, Just Start and Be Consistent, which are both pretty much like fantastic advice, and it's there. My thing is one, make the content you enjoy making, because if you enjoy making it, you're going to do it more consistently. And two, as I talked about the very beginning, don't overload yourself. Don't lead to burnout, because burnout was one of the worst things that happened to me, because I was doing way too much before I came back to doing what I'm doing now. I was trying to do way too much, and I wasn't enjoying the game. I was getting very frustrated. So just don't bite off more than you can chew. Just, if you can only do 1 day a week, or 1 day every 2 weeks, like, make that the day you upload your video for the consistency piece. But just have fun and enjoy what you're doing, because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're gonna get tired of it, and you're just gonna stop.
Kind of feel like a chump now, only uploading once a week. just teasing. That's great advice. I love it. Yeah. It's so true. That consistency matters, but even more importantly is enjoying what you do, because I've seen many fellow content creators just get burnt out and overloaded. Some people it drives them and compels them, but a lot of people it grinds their gears and becomes more of a job than a hobby. So yes. I love it.
Okay. We're gonna throw some rapid fire questions at you real quick.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Favorite set 5 card?
The Enchanted Robin Hood Sharpshooter.
Nice. Which Rescue Ranger are you most looking forward to?
Chip, because he's inspired by Indiana Jones.
Your favorite Pocahontas character?
Miko.
The Pixar franchise you're most excited to see in Lorcana?
Toy Story.
Will we eventually see Star Wars and or Marvel in Lorcana?
All right, the big question. So Star Wars, I'm unsure of, because with Star Wars Unlimited being out, I don't know how the licensing works for that. Marvel, obviously, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go all in, because I want this as an item, and I want them to make it work. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
The deck you're most excited to test in set 5?
All right, so Emerald, Steel, Robin Hood, Damage.
The Ping deck.
The Ping deck, yes. I love the change of design philosophy that Emerald got in set 5, focusing on damage instead of discard.
Nice. Yeah, that deck was like, I remember being played early on in I think it was in set 3 when the bow came out.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And it was like, okay, it feels like it's almost there. It's almost there. And then we got a bunch more in this set. Yeah. So yeah. Yep. And now, besides Daisy, what card do you think will be the most impactful in the game from this set?
Pete, Games Referee.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, situationally, I think that's going to be a very impactful card. I think it's going to be one that requires a lot of forethought. I mean, obviously, if you're playing against a Ruby player, you want to slam that thing down before they hit turn 7. Yep. But against Steel players, against other players, against the Emerald, Amber under the Sea deck, knowing when to play that, I think it's going to be one of the smarter decisions.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm not being very smart right now, so you understand what I'm getting at, though. Okay, time for ending segments here.
Yeah, I mean, the whole podcast almost was news, so we don't really have a whole lot of news. But I just found out today that apparently Stephen Ryan did not go home after D23. They have shown up at a few local SoCal stores and played some games with during league nights and done some little games, and I think Steve actually played an entire sealed event, signed some stuff, gave out some promos. So it's really awesome that they're going and hanging out around SoCal playing games before they go home. I thought that was pretty awesome.
It really is. It really is. Okay, so that means it's time for Disney Jeopardy.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All right.
We I don't know. So, well, the last question's kind of tough, so we'll see.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
For 100, this is the island where Peter Pan lives.
Oh, what is Neverland?
Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Sticking with the theme of Peter Pan, for 200, this is where the Darling children live. Like the city.
Oh, okay. What is London?
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, for 300, moving away from Peter Pan.
Okay.
This is the sports broadcaster that Disney traded to regain the rights to Oswald.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Still the craziest story ever.
I'm gonna get this wrong. For some reason, I can only think of Al Michaels.
You got it.
Okay, yes.
That's the one. Okay.
Okay, who is Al Michaels, right?
And you're Mr. Disney World, worked at Epcot. So for 400, this is what Epcot stands for.
Oh, Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
There you go. That is correct. Okay. So for 500, this is the only Disney film, maybe animated. I'm thinking animated film, where the villain doesn't appear in the film.
And we're not talking generational trauma.
That's a good one.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, it is, because you can see me flipping through them.
Because okay, I'll say this.
Okay.
It's the antagonist for sure, but the antagonist only has a small part at the beginning of the film. Is that right, James?
I think so.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
And so now it's the pitter-patter of his little animals running in his brain and the little wheel making it turn. Trying to think of the answer to the question.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got me here. I know this isn't the answer. I'm going to say the bowler hat guy.
Maybe a little flour would help.
Like to make some bread?
No, the flour.
Oh, anyway. Okay. I'm assuming you mean who is Man?
Yes, the man from Bambi.
From Bambi, yeah. Okay, I got you.
Sorry, that was a tough one.
That was a tough one, yeah.
I don't know if I would have gotten that one.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I didn't get it till you said flour, quite honestly. So I was like, that's right. Walt does not show that. So yeah.
My pitter patter comment didn't help at all with the little pitter patter of little
the owl. Yeah, the animals. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about the movie, yeah.
Anyway,
my hints never help.
No, I got it, but I also knew the answer.
You knew the answer,
right? Yeah.
All right. Anyway, thank you for playing Disney Jeopardy with us. 4 out of 5 is not bad.
Not bad, yeah.
And I really appreciated our conversation, breaking down the D23 news with us and talking about the Vegas DLC and all things Set 5. So again, Jason, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
So of course, find me on YouTube. Just type in Lorcana Thanos. I come right up. I'm the only one. And then on, of course, the artist formerly known as Twitter on X at Lorcana Thanos. I have an Instagram, but I don't ever use it. So just YouTube and X.
Similar. And I think you just posted on Twitter that you reached 50 followers. So maybe we can help bump that up on YouTube there. So
yeah.
Or 50 subscribers, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you liked what you heard, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on the podcasting platform of your choice. Again, you can find me on the website formerly known as Twitter at Citizens of Lorcana. And James, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere online at Dan Regal. And I think that's it. Jason, thanks for coming on. And everyone, thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Okay. Bye.